Well, hey, welcome. It feels so good to be back here with Horror on the Page. My name is MK Sholin, and I'm here, the face of this little Substack that I call Horror on the Page. That's all about bringing together writers and authors who love horror with those who are looking to connect with other horror fans that love movies, TV shows, books, games, all that jazz because I do offer different posts that cover everything from reviews and trends in horror movies and TV shows to talking about writing horror, because that's what some of us horror writers like to do. And that can look like anything from talking about the characters that we love and frustrated with to the structure and everything that goes into writing horror. Too much, is it too much gore? Not enough gore? Let's just figure it out together. So typically I post twice a week, but sadly I have had taken time off since my last post where I covered my 4-day experience at StokerCon. I'm still buzzed about it, which happened this past June. And if you haven't checked out those detailed accounts of what was covered in the many panels that I attended, or the takeaways that I shared from the award ceremony, plus the countless photos that I took of many of the wonderful authors there, and directors and all kinds of people that are all involved in horror. It is all in those posts. So do check out my backlog of posts here on the Substack Horror on the Page. So today is more going to be like a recap of some of the things that I've done since I have posted. There's a little bit of touch of drama that's been happening in my personal life. I don't really get into personal stuff, but it's things that actually inspired getting back into talking to you guys. So I'll give a little recap of what's going on in my life, writing wise, good news, all that fun stuff, and a little bit behind the scenes because I feel it's worth. So I do a topic, and the topic is related to that. So moving on. Yeah, so I also want to say I'm doing this one as a face. I usually do typing, written out posts versus a video, but this time I really want to be extra transparent and just kind of show you what it's like to look behind the curtain of what happens in the day in the life of a writer horror like myself. I just happen to not feel like I have to post something every minute of the day like some people do with social media. I'm kind of doing less with social media, except for posting really important, good stuff. Just not pictures of food every single day. So I tend to enjoy sharing chunks of information in posts like this, and then sharing that. So the first thing that's of note is all the things happening in my neck of the woods here in Maryland regarding writing groups that I'm in. Yes, that is more than one with the S. I don't know why I just did that for S, but that's just me. I'm going with the flow. So yeah, I'm in two writing groups, one of which I'm attending later today. Actually, I'm going to be leaving really soon for that. And that group, we call ourselves the Writers Cult, and we meet once a month on the Eastern Shore at a awesome distillery. It's really a brewery called Cult Classic Brewery. And like I said, we meet once a month. It's about 20 authors that we get together. It varies each month. Summer's a little lighter because, vacation. But each of the meetings are led by different individuals. We don't really have a main leader, so to speak. But whoever leads get to choose the topic, and we kind of go around the room and share our thoughts on that topic. Or sometimes we don't have an agenda. We just kind of share what's been going on in our lives with our works in progress and even our frustrations and our celebrations and things like that. Because I truly believe it's important to find a group to share that stuff with, because sometimes our friends and family just don't get us, you know? And it's better when you have a group of friends and peers that are also writers that understand the voices in your head. So what's nice to report about this group is that we just formed a critique group, and it's made up of half of the members of the Cult Writers group. And this group basically is meeting once a month. We already met in July, and the next one is going to be early August. And in July, I submitted two flash pieces of flash fiction, another author submitted some of her like first or two chapters, and it was just really impressive to get the feedback because everyone in this group is not horror authors. It's a gambit of different people. They write everything from historical fiction to nonfiction to memoir to romance and young adult and everything. Journalists. We have two journalists in there. So we get really interesting feedback from all these people. So even though it's really good to get feedback from people who write in your genre, sometimes you get really good extra feedback from people that read and write widely. So to recap a little bit, because this is getting into what's going to be happening in this meeting, just because I'm sharing, we talk about AI and writing. Not a lot, but lately we've been talking a lot more. The last meeting, we talked a little bit about how to get submitting well, we talked about submitting work to and stuff like that. But this was more about how, uh, sorry, I'm a little in the weeds here. Yeah, how about I get into the AI stuff when I talk a little bit about my future posts because that's my teaser. All right, so next announcement, newsflash. I have several announcements. After all, it's been a month since I last posted here, and I have been dubbed the new critique group chairperson for the Maryland Writers Association, or MWA for short. And this responsibility, on top of being the current president of the Carroll County chapter of the organization, it's been a slow adjustment. The new role kind of involves me catching up on a lot of emails that's been not taken care of, not on purpose. It's just, you know how there's a grace period. Well, that grace period is accumulating. And so I need to take care of that and take care of some small calls to action. On top of that, there's also this large task of following up with the critique groups that are involved in the organization and making sure they're still active. And if they're not, I need to follow up, as well as making sure their contact information is current. So that's a pretty involved task and something I'm working on and I'm kind of excited about. I have a lot of experience doing critique groups and things and starting them and letting them go do their own thing and have fun with that. So I'm excited for this volunteer position. And maybe it'll help me out with my, I don't know, my resume or something. But I do it for fun because I just really like it. So I don't also use this space to promote my books or anything like that. I just want to make that clear for those that are new. However, I may occasionally mention something that I'm writing or doing if the topic is calling for it. And since this is more of an update, I thought maybe I could share a few things. So I'm going to take this opportunity to share a little bit that in early July, I had this idea for creating a gumball machine. Get this, that instead of dispersing, I'm having trouble with my tongue today, dispersing gumballs, it would disperse 50-word horror stories for $1. Yes, these are my original stories. There's 12 in total, and no AI was ever used in any of them. And each story is printed on different colored pieces of paper. So this is all the stuff I've been brainstorming. And then they'd be rolled up and put into these clear plastic hollow like capsules. And so yeah, that's what one looks like, you know. So when I chose to move forward early this month, I ordered the machine and the clear balls and I composed those stories, and they're basically dribbles, 50-word stories. So for those that don't know, 50-word stories have an actual title. They're called dribbles. Drabbles are 100-word stories. I like to write a lot of these. However, it takes an extra a lot in order to put them together in a book. So I figured, well, what could I do in the middle, in the meantime to try and make a little bit of money, get some um, I don't know what you call it, like pizzazz going on, some buzz about them. So I figured the idea of a gumball machine would work. So the time that it took to order and for them to arrive, I wrote those stories out, put them on this colored pieces of paper, type them out, not literally banged them out on typewriter, but you know what I mean. And rolled them up, put them in the balls. And now I have this complete set that's completely done. And I'm test marketing it, reaching out to different indie bookstores in my area to see if they'd be willing to put it on their counter or someplace in their store, just for a few weeks. And maybe at the end, not maybe, but definitely at the end of that time period, whatever we agreed to, we would just split everything 50-50. So if, let's say, I don't know, 10 stories sold, because they're a dollar a piece. They get $5, I get $5. I like to think bigger, but for no some reason 10 just popped in my head. So with luck, fingers crossed, please cross your fingers for me. It will have a temporary home when I'm not using it at events. So I have a book fair coming up in September. I have farmers markets coming up in August. So when I don't have them at the events, I'm hoping to have them at a local indie bookstore. And maybe in the future, there'll be a few more machines if it really does take off in other places in Maryland. I'm definitely trying to target indie bookstores because I love my indie bookstores. And I know there's quite a few indie bookstores in Pennsylvania. So I'm developing my network in there. So if you guys, oh, you guys would be so awesome. If you know of some that would be interested in this, kind of like leave me a message in the comments, okay? But yeah, so that's kind of one of my little projects that I'm working on. So with all that, oh, on top of that, we've had crazy hot weather. Over 4th of July, we had a power outage for 4 days because we had a horrible thunderstorm. So a lot of these weird doozies have come upon us. So yeah, for a good week, we were off. Like we weren't not doing much on our computers except for our phones, basically, an iPad. And then we went to a hotel for a few days. But yeah, things were kind of thrown all over the place. Just all over. You know what I mean? You know, things like that happen. On top of that, we have this weird saga that's been happening in the background where my mother-in-law has been having a lot of medical issues, ongoing ones for over a year. And she's been in and out of hospitals with back surgeries. She's had a hip replacement surgeries, yes, with another S, because she has re-injured herself several times. On top of the other medical issues, she's had cognitive decline and dementia issues. It's just been a lot, and managing her house and things like that. So, as I'm talking right now, my husband is out of town and helping his sister, because it's just the two of them, sort out everything in the house so they can get it ready for an estate sale and then put the house on the market and all that fun stuff. So that's been kind of brewing, and like our lives have been on a holding pattern. Then as soon as it's like, we got a quick act. So that's my life lately. And even though I'm here at my normal house and doing more normal stuff, it's been a lot of communication and doing a lot of different things on the side to try to help my sister-in-law out, but navigating a lot of this stuff too. So with that, we're hoping that all this stuff will get settled and the money can help pay for her expenses at this nursing home facility or assisted living home, and things will get much better. So, you know, every day is a new day, and with her, it's always some new issues happening. So that kind of inspired this second part of my presentation here, my talk. The wild cards that happen in our lives that create ripple effects, like in my husband's life and their family and our family, and how that affects our stuff here in Maryland, and so on. There's all these weird ripple effects. So I just want to give a shout out to Julie. She's amazing, brave, smart, able to get a lot of stuff done, and we're able to help her in little ways we can, like giving her dozens of damn it dolls that she's destroyed because of all the frustrations that's happened. But once this kind of hurdle is done, it'll take some pressure off of a lot of us, I think. And with that, I want to ask you, my friends, when it comes to all these different things that come at us, like as whammies, if you will, or curveballs, as I talk about, how do you deal with life's curveballs? I just want to ask you because it is very interruptive. Whether you're an author trying to complete a book or start something, or you want to start reading more books because, you know, that's your joy. or you want to see, like I've been wanting to see a lot of the horror movies that are out, and it's every so often I'm able to see one or two. But I'd love to like, oh, have a good long double feature weekend and stuff like that. So how do you get back on track? How do you deal with all these things? And that's the topic here. So everyone kind of has curveballs that look a little different from being a new parent and managing a new life and not knowing how that works because they don't come with instructions, to being a new parent as if you're a step parent and then you're throwing into an instant family and how to deal with that, plus work and all those other fun things. Or what if you or your spouse or another loved one has had an unexpected health diagnosis or several all at one time? That's happened. And what happens when you have other unexpected things like a move? You have to move to a new place, or a shift in income, family woes. Life is just not easy or a bowl of cherries. It can be a nightmare, like a horror story, right? So, how does one find time to write, read, take a breath, even? So, this is the question that's been on my mind, and here's a few of my thoughts on the topic. Because we all have these pressures and demands that we put on ourselves, but it feels like we have to be the ones that do everything, and everything has to be done ASAP, like right now, because that's our society, right? We want Amazon and we want our stuff to come now. We want our instant TV shows so we can binge, all that stuff. So, yeah, some things are urgent, but the extra pressure isn't really outside world pressures. It's the ones that we put on ourselves. And that's something as I've been learning as this has been all happening around us. And will the world end? So this is the questions I've been asking myself. Will the world end if I miss a meeting? Because I'm involved with a lot of organizations. Guess what? The world will not end if you miss a meeting. Actually, people can fill in, believe it or not. Can goalposts be moved? Absolutely, yes. That one hard deadline that you have, you can always ask permission. Can I get an extra week or some extra time? Or can I put a pin in this? Guess what? If you ask, you might receive. So that's something that's really nice and happy to know for me. And I want to pass it on to you. So, what I'm trying to say is like, look at what responsibilities that can be taken off your plate or what others can do to help step in and help you out. So, sure, you have to be a parent and you might have to be a caregiver. But what if, just play the what if game. I play this a lot in my writing. What if you can ask your friends or your family or a neighbor to, or an outside service to help you step in and take over some pressure? What if you can take a sabbatical from a role that you have? You know, I said I'm involved with organizations, but what if I kind of like, I don't have to be, doing serving my fifth sentence, not sentence, that sounds like a jail time, my next years of service and actually just step down and have someone else take over. Wouldn't that feel really nice and alleviate a lot of time? So what if you let go of those responsibilities or even pivot away from something that is just not bringing you joy or the joy that you once had? This could be anything from a project that you're just gonna be doing less of, or there's another thing that you like to, or there's distractions like social media that's getting in the way. So, what if you can just find little ways to redo your schedule, budget your time, if you will, so that way you can reclaim a little bit more time and not waste it. Take a look at your day to day activities and reorganize them. So this is kind of what I was talking about. At what's more important and can give you better perspective that's more necessary to make life more manageable. So for that, it might be realizing there's going to be weeks that, yeah, you might have a lot more appointments and some extra meetings, but remember, it's only temporary. It's that 1 week. If you just, have that little milestones and some rewards, you made it through Monday, you made it through Tuesday, you made it through Wednesday, and you have just one more left and things will get to be smooth sailing. Because a lot of times when you're in the heat of all the emotion and angst, it feels like you're drowning and you'll never see the light. But the light will come, it will happen. I've become more comfortable with saying no. Oh, it feels good to say no. I'm a very much a yes person, but now I've learned the power of no. as well as delegating small tasks to other people who have said, well, if you need anything, give me a call. Well, guess what? I am actually calling people and say, hey, I really need some help. Could you help me? Even with the power outage, we didn't have a shower. We couldn't shower ourselves for 3 days. So I'm like, I actually was on Facebook. It's like, can anyone let me borrow your shower so I can take a shower so I don't smell? And I had three people say, yes, please come over. So there's a lot in asking. And it don't feel like you're a failure if you ask or you have to step down. That is bogus. It's not real. It's just this pressure you put on yourself because really it's just it's an act of bravery and kind of reclaiming your sanity so you can just do more for yourself and be better for yourself and showing up for yourself, but also for the others around you. Sometimes the POV shift can help create a positive domino effect where other things fall into place in a better way so you can manage things a little bit better. So I threw in a little rating thing, POV. So it actually does really help in real life. So this is what has brought, oh yeah. So here's an example. I was listening to The Creative Pen, which is a great podcast. The host is Joanna. And she was going through the same thing. I was listening to this just in the middle of all the stuff that was going on. I was like, this is perfect. This is great timing. And her issue was that she needed to have more time because she was doing these podcasts and are coming out on Mondays. And really, she needed to have her weekends to herself because she was using all the time on her weekend to record and edit and then get them posted on Monday. Then she thought, well, what if I didn't have to do that on the weekend? What would it look like if I chose something else? So she found a way to work it out that she would do the recordings and all that stuff Monday and Tuesday, and the recordings would come out, her podcast would come out on Wednesdays. And she has found this is, just a little shift has made big results in her time and health and management and things like that. Because if you let things go too much and you feel like the train is about to derail, that is going to be really bad for your mental health and those again around you. So I thought it was just really cool that she found doing this little pivot really has helped her. And then, you can always test market some of these ideas, like with the gumball machine. But, things happen. And as we do adjust, there's different things that you can do to make things easy for you. So if you're someone that's struggling and finding the time, having a hard time finding the time to write or enjoy reading a book or whatever, just reconsider re-evaluating your priorities and look for different places where you can kind of quit something or carve out time in a different way and even ask for help because that's okay. So that you can find the time to do the things that matter to you and help you with your own mental health. So I just want to open this up to everyone because I do this every single time. What are your struggles? Can you relate to these weird life curveballs? And what are some of your curveballs that thrown you for a loop? What are some of the ways in the past that you've been able to deal with these life pressures? And what has worked? What hasn't worked? What would you do differently? And lastly, what kind of advice do you have for people that you would like to know? Or if you're asking, need help, share, what can we do to help you? Maybe we can give you advice. Maybe we can have a conversation or something. Put all that in the comment section below because I bet you others that are reading this could definitely benefit from your advice as well. It's not just me, it's you guys. It's a community. So yes, use the comment section and share your 2 cents on the subject. And I want to also mention, if you haven't subscribed to this, please subscribe because I have some really interesting content coming up. As I was kind of teasing, talking about AI, June's meeting that I'm going to today, as well as today's meeting that I'm going to today, was all about AI because we ran out of time. And we're going to be talking this time more about what we didn't get a chance to finish, as well as the gray areas that writers encounter when it comes to using AI. Like, is there parts of AI that can be useful for writers to help us write, not write as in write for us? To just be clear, I'm very much against AI writing your work because the idea is for me, it's an art form. Art forms come from humans because of our emotions and our creativity and everything like that cannot be duplicated with AI. However, There's times that we may need things because we don't know things. We only know so much that we know. So whether it happens to be marketing ideas and things like that, can we use AI to help us with that? Or is it better to just use the experts or whatever? So we're going to explore this in my writing group that's coming up today. And I'm going to take some good notes and share that with you guys in my next post, which should be towards the end of this week. So stay tuned, stay subscribed. Um, so yeah, I cannot wait to share some of that stuff, and actually cannot wait to be a part of the discussion. I'm going to be the leader of it, so we'll see what happens, right? So let's see. Yeah, so I'm going to be taking some good notes and share all that fun stuff. Also, if you have a topic that you'd like to be discussed on here, I'm open-minded. I'd love to talk about some crazy stuff that is important to you. So also include that in the comments if you feel led. And really, my time's up. So I'm sorry to keep you a little longer, but hopefully, this is short enough that we are able to connect and share a little bit of fun stuff. So if you want to learn more about my writing and my career, you want more content, check my author website. And that also has my author monthly newsletter, which is coming out in August, early August. That's through www.mksholund.com, SHOLUND.com. That's all my information is there, including how to reach me through email. And with all that being said, I hope you guys have a great rest of the week. And until next time, I hope the words on this page inspire your own amazing stories that will leap off your pages. And until next time, this is MK Sholin, and I'm signing off. Bye bye, everybody.